Hi, welcome to Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as J Nitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 55. We are double nickel. And don't you play with my needle. Can you be part of AARP when you're 55?
I don't know anymore. it might have been moved out,
Yeah,
just like all of the Medicare stuff.
Right? Yep. I went back because somebody was asking when the Ho episode was.
Oh.
And how much fun we used to have when I would say, and I'm Megan Williams.
Megan Williams.
It reminded me. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought that I looked slightly better then. Like, I was running more, and my cheeks were less chubby.
I did that recently, too. And, yeah, don't ever do that. Especially when you know you've put on a little bit of weight between then and then. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, And it's like I'm a chipmunk. Because, I mean, my pants still fit. Everything fits. It's just my cheeks. But there's worse places to put on weight, right?
Yes.
Than your cheeks.
Yes.
Although your cheeks are always visible, so.
Yeah, you can't hide those.
No, that's where they are. Alright, I have a lot of administrivia and a needle in my mouth. So
my week in review, I guess.
Go for it.
Okay. Is that I've been doing the Jillian Michaels 30-day shred.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done 5 days out of the last 7.
Before or after you ate the burrito?
Ate the burrito, skipped a day, did all the way till Sunday skip. Because I wasn't feeling the greatest and just colds and sinuses and whatnot. And then I did this morning. Yes.
Yay for you.
So
your cheeks aren't going to be chubby.
5 out of 7. Now, of course, I had Culver's on the way here. Some chocolate ice cream.
That is always the thing about exercise, is that it makes you uber hungry.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's easy for me to put some cheek weight on pretty quickly, because I'm addicted to the carbs. So when you're not getting
bread,
the exercise, yeah, I think the carbs help you real fast. Anyway, that's a totally different podcast. You guys don't care about our cheeks and our
aerobicizing.
Yes. I wanted to say that I was blown away by the response of everybody either sharing their own stories that have something to do with a loved one passing, or their own experiences with like emboli, with blood clotting issues. Just the number of people that have bought the pattern as a gift for somebody, blog post. It's just beyond my wildest imagination and just so exciting to me. My mom joined Ravelry so that she could project stalk me, and went out and like did excerpts from the threads and stuff. Like, one of your viewers said this, did you see that? And just, being a proud mom. And she and my dad sat down and watched our episode together, and it's just been great. It's been great to tell my mom that people are hearing Melissa's story, because I've said it a million times and I'll say it again. I've allowed myself to lose my sister, but I've not allowed myself to go where my mom has to go, in losing a child, because that is my worst nightmare. I don't know how, I know what it feels like to lose a sister now, but I can't imagine losing a child. And she was blown away by everybody's comments as well. And I didn't ask this person for their permission to talk about it on air, so I won't mention a name. But there is a pharmacist in Canada. This is going to blow you away. Like, it blew me away. She said last year when we talked about it the first time, they hadn't released in Canada yet that Yaz had like 3 times the blood clotting incidences. And she said that everybody, after she went out and researched it, obviously we didn't do like a very thorough investigation on our podcast, but that ever since, when people come through that have prescriptions for Yaz, she says, you really need to, like I said, go talk to your medical professional. And she said, there's no telling how many lives Melissa's story has saved.
Oh, wow.
I was just like crying as I was reading it, and like, oh my God, you know, I mean, it was hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I watched the video, just the amount of like that I was doing.
Fidgeting.
Yes, I was a fidgety mess. You could tell that it was very hard for me, because I don't like, you know, we're very upbeat normally, and even in that same episode we were very upbeat. So it was uncomfortable for me to be weepy on air, but I'm ever so glad that I did, just because of all of the wonderful response. We've got a ton of prizes, so if you bought the hat, please knit it, because I've got so many prizes to give away. Kiki of Yarn versus Zombies is doing a Fight Like a Girl colorway that she has. She's donating. 716 Knit, GI Punk Jen is doing Melissa's favorite colors, and she said she went for a walk and like looked at the foliage and the blue sky, because Melissa's favorite colors were blue and green, and you know, was inspired by the story and is dyeing up something. We've got a bag, we've got markers made by Knit Spin Farm, Joanna Spring. And if I'm forgetting your name and you donated something, I'm sorry, but it's all out in the thread. I'll start posting pictures as things arrive if I haven't already posted pictures. I'm just so excited. I just am so thankful for all of you. I can't say that I'm surprised at the response, not because of, you know, me. I'm not being, this isn't a humble brag, but the knitting community as a whole is just so awesome. So that response was in some way expected, because I know how awesome knitters are.
And how much has it raised so far?
$500 we have raised so far.
Yay.
Oh, and that reminds me, I need to mention, so 2 Melissas have bought 10 patterns apiece, which it was a coincidence, but like the Melissa power is coming in. So Melissa, aka Ploverbird, bought 10 patterns, and she wants me to randomly distribute them. So tomorrow I'm going to random active pattern 10 people. Might be people in the thread, might be people in our group, might be people out on Plurk, but look for me tomorrow with my dangerous 10 patterns to be given away if you haven't already purchased it. And then Melissa of Single Handed Knits is also giving away, she already gave away 10 patterns, I believe, and then she's doing 5 more after her episode came out.
Okay.
So like, I think she's waiting for people to reply in the thread, so go out and check that out. And as I said, prizes galore. So you've got until January, and January 1st is what I originally had the cutoff for. But if we've got more prizes, then we do applicants.
Keep going.
Yep. And Amy, you said you were like, boy, I wish I could jump in.
I could probably still jump in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Technically, it's not my KL.
I did knit a weeb and didn't enter it into yours, but I think I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
How about I'll do a 5-to-1. If I get 5 of them done, I'll have 1 entry.
Yeah, and you've got a good start.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had to say about For Good.
Okay.
The Crazy Yarn drawing, we did because we always have so much to say. I didn't like take anybody out. And if I had landed on like somebody commenting on a picture rather than a picture, I would have just redrawn. But this is my Lorna's Laces VKN Live number 16 of 100. Somebody signed it.
It looks like number 6
of
100.
And it's very bright. It was from VKN Live in LA.
Oh, no, Vogue Knitting Live, so VK.
Yeah, not N, sorry.
Yeah. VK Live, Vogue Knitting Live, LA.
Yep. And it's Lorna's Laces Shepherd.
So apparently there's only 100 of these in the world.
Ooh. And I had 2 of them that I thought I was going to make a kaleidoscope out of. Anyway, without further ado, 2 through 75, generate 1, came up with number 35, and I thought this was so fitting.
No. Oh yeah, I did. Sorry.
Because it had a lot of it generated a lot of comments, And it was the like squiggly yarn, like it looks like brains or amoeba, or I don't know if you can see that.
Crazy bag.
Yes, she was going to make a bag out of it that was very crazy as well. And yes, she has it in orange. So it is C. Perrin, I believe is how you would say it, Cindy from Wheaton, Illinois. And if you haven't seen her yarn yet, it's pretty crazy. In fact, I don't know, does it have fringe or is that just the background?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, but it was very crazy, Cindy, and please contact me and I will get that out. If you contact me after tomorrow, which you probably will since I'm publishing this tomorrow, I'll be traveling for Thanksgiving, so it'll probably be into next week, but I haven't been very prompt lately. I apologize to everybody. I just got our previous KAL stuff out this past week. And then we want to talk about Marigold Jen. Don't pick anything up.
No, I'm just reading my pattern.
Oh, well, don't do that either. So, announcement time! Yay for yarn! Yay for yarnies. So, if you didn't watch last week or you wanted a refresher, we contacted Indie Dyers and wanted to know whether or not they would be interested in creating large quantities of certain colorways in our names so that we could buy sweaters worth of indie yarn, kind of selfishly, but on your behalf as well. Sweaters quantities of beautiful yarn that we love, and we're also going to share and not just keep it all for ourselves, even though I want to. And that update of these yarns, well, first talk about your yarn.
So I picked a purple, and we have two bases. We have a BFL nylon sock yarn, and we have the 100% merino worsted. So this one here is a little bit lighter than the worsted. And there are there's going to be really good pictures of these out online that'll give a good representation of the color. But I named mine Punky Plum, or Amy's Punky Plum.
Yeah, it'll have Amy on the front just so that you know. And mine is Apple of Megan's Eye, because this reminds me very much of an appley green. And both of them, we think that they would go very nicely together, like color coordinating. So again, my BFL is a little lighter, just like Amy's, because the different bases take the dye differently. And we told her, don't put yourself out trying to make them exactly matching, because I really like that they're just a little bit different. She does very good at kind of these darker overtones, so I don't know if you can see it on it, but there's a depth of color to this yarn.
Smoky.
Yeah, it's kind of like the smoky eye, but I mean, when you look at it, it's not, you know, it's not uniform by any means, but it just has a nice quality, a depth of color that I really like. I really like both of the bases. The superwash merino in worsted is so springy and soft. A garment out of this would have a nice weight and a nice fluff to it. And then the BFL, I think it's going to wear really well, and it's going to, it would be a very nice fingering weight. Although you don't have to order sweaters quantity.
Right.
And the pre-order starts tomorrow night, 8 Eastern Standard Time, EST. It's going to be out on her Etsy shop. What if all of this is just flying past you and you don't want to have to get out a pencil and paper and write all of it down? It's all going to be out on our blog. I'll post it tomorrow night with a link. Click over, see beautiful yarns, buy them. She also is offering a 10% discount with the code ZOMBIE10. I believe that is without an S. Zombie10, but I'll check and it'll be on the blog, both on the post about pre-ordering the yarn and the podcast. And that will go until December 3rd, I believe.
Now, were these limited?
December 12th. Yes. So there's 35. Gosh, the numbers are gonna kill me here. Yes, 35 of each one of these. So BFL gets 35 of mine, 35 of the worsted, 35 of your BFL, 35 of your worsted.
So plenty. I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, this is 464 yards,
mm-hmm.
and this one is 218.
Which are very hefty skeins.
So that's pretty generous. So you should be able to get a sweater's worth in what you choose, what color and base you choose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't dilly-dally too much, but
yep.
it'll
We understand
be out
the
there.
Holidays are coming,
Right.
and that you might not be near a computer, but you know we want to impress, though, that the quantities are limited, right? I mean, if you do want to do a sweater and it's going to take you 4 or 5 of these, I wouldn't wait.
Yeah. Or if it's going to take you more than 4 or 5, and you really need to jump in there.
Yeah.
And again, 10% off of her normal prices.
Mm-hmm.
So, and her normal prices are very reasonable. At least I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Megan thinks so.
Yep.
I think this will be a really good deal. I have decided that I want my color in the BFLs for the sweater,
Mm-hmm.
and I want the worsted in Megan's color.
For another sweater.
Yeah.
And I don't think we haven't cleared this with her, but I don't believe our numbers are part of that 35.
It might be, but I don't know.
I hope not, because then we're gonna hog all the yarn.
Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, so and again, it's as anything we mentioned on the podcast, there's no pressure to buy.
Yes.
But if you're interested, it's available,
Yep.
and she does a fantastic job. Very good price, like Amy said. She has one of the best prices, I believe, on indie dyed yarn out there for these very generous skeins.
I think that Dancing Dog Dye Works is pretty close in their pricing as well.
Yeah, well, but yeah, so these are 10% off. So the fingering is going to be 18. So 18 times, I would get 3 or 4 of them for a sweater. Is very reasonable in my opinion. And then 18 for the worsted, 10% off. That is $1.80, so almost 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just a little over 16 for one of these, which is very competitive.
Yep. And yeah. And again, we're going to be knitting along on these in March.
Yep, and she's going to ship them out in February. So
and again, it doesn't have to be our special colors. It could be any Marigold Jen yarn.
And the 10% off is any Marigold Jen yarn.
Yes.
And she has a shop full of single skeins that are beautiful.
Yes.
This is your opportunity to get
Sweaters quantity,
multiple quantity. Really like this color. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, and just like anything, like the plucky knitter that I'm going to talk, the woeful story I'm going to talk about later, you will need to alternate skeins. There isn't going to be, these
are independent dyes. They're, just like you would Madeline Tosh and plucky knitter. And
I wish Marigold Jen would tell, maybe I don't, maybe Marigold Jen will be my new Madeline Tosh, would tell Madeline Tosh how to finish their yarns.
Oh, so it smells
fantastic.
Yeah, way better.
Oh, these smell fantastic, Jen. So,
yeah, and that's all I had. Like we said, they coordinate well, so you could make a 2-tone shawl.
Yeah, like a daybreak. I thought that would be really pretty.
So again, it doesn't have to be a big project. And you can buy just one little skein of worsted weight. One little skein of worsted weight yarn and
give her a try. Yeah.
Give it a try. Yeah, just see if you like it. And that's it. Thank you, Jen. We love this, and we are so excited to get it. And of course, we're knitting along, so gotta plot my.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun that if we tell people in advance what pattern we think we're gonna do as well, because then we could end up with similar. It would be almost being like in the Cookie Sock Club, where everybody gets the same yarn and has a similar pattern and have similar finished objects. There's that. What else? I don't think I had any more administrivia other than to remind people of this or that. We're going to draw next week. So go out and vote.
Get out there. I've been trying, although poor Lena Nodal is probably thinking, who is this crazy person who keeps trying to contact me?
She has you on her block list. What
Probably.
are you talking about?
Probably. Because I see her pop up in just G-Chat. So, like, I'm like, hey, G-Chat. I don't know. I'm trying. But,
she wants to get you guys a coupon code.
I do. I really do. And she just released, like, a cowl pattern that is so cool.
Mm.
Or is getting fit to release one soon. I mean, there's a couple finished objects out there, but no pattern page. So cute. So cute. I love the detail in it. Anyway, try.
Okay. That is all that I have written down to speak of.
And the Tiki, I contacted Tiki, Georgie of Tiki Knits, and her coupon code is good for quite a while. So you should be good to pattern shop your heart's content for all your Christmas knitting needs until the new year.
Cool.
So now again, go out, show your support, because, anytime somebody uses that zombie code, she knows where that person came from. And we want to be able to tell people about this or that and get them involved so that we can get coupon codes to you. That's it.
That's all she wrote. I have no finished objects. I have a hoe, but you go right ahead there. Finished object, Magoo.
I do. I have lots.
Monogamy rules.
Well, that's what you think. I want to cast on the beatnik, but my knit to zero goal.
That does kind of
puts
conflict, and then I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yes,
totally.
So I have a for good hat.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! With an acorn button that I bought at our retreat. It's very cute.
And darn it anyway.
And yeah,
I really like it. She put it on. I squeezed a little bit. I like it. I saw Kiki has one in variegated with another crafty girl. You look very pretty in it. I think it brings out the color in your eyes.
Which is brown.
Yes. And yours is variegated as well. So this is the first two that I've seen in variegated because I've been doing mine in semi-solids.
Yeah, I mean, this to me seems like a semi-solid. I mean, because I did my, this is the same yarn I did my abalone out of. And I have enough leftovers.
You call
that
that
I
a
could
semi-solid?
They're all the same reddish hue. I suppose you're right. But it's not a crazy variegated where every color in the rainbow is in it. Yeah, it's not that.
Okay.
My goodness, that's a loud vibrate.
Yeah, well, it's sitting on something, so.
Okay. So, that's 1. 2. Sparkle yarn. Sparkles! So, kind of a messy skein now because I've been trying.
Find me where you were just spinning sparkle. Or I guess it's all plied now.
It's all plied.
So it's been plied away. Through the magic of plying.
Yeah.
We no longer have just spinning sparkle parts.
I could tell when I was plying it because it got really rough in my fingers. But, and maybe when I'm knitting it, I'll be like, oh, there it is. Like a section about this big. But, yeah. So this is fun. And I did have somebody contact me. They said that the bat that I bought was not, it was kind of carded for art yarn. It wasn't carded for smooth yarn.
Yeah,
or whatever. Like they could have carded it a couple more times for me if I wanted them to.
Like really mixed it up.
Yeah. So I enjoy these colors. I love the yarn and how it turned out. This is going to make something awesome. I think that it's between a worsted and Aran weight and 280 yards. So I thought I would have gotten a lot more yardage out of it, but it is close to an Aran weight. So that's pretty good yardage for an Aran weight.
And you just 2-plied it?
Yep. No, 3-ply. Sorry.
Ply.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's 3-ply. I got 2 ounces
of... Oh, that's it. That is a lot for a third, right? You basically third what you originally...
Yeah, it was 2 ounces of a 2 ounce of the purple, 2 ounces of the purple, and then a 3 ounce of the sparkle. And so that sparkle ply is a little bit thicker than the other 2 plies. And it kind of gives it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, under the studio lights, if you were, it's showing a lot of its sparkle character.
It's like when you get your ring cleaned and it's at the store and you're like, ooh, look at that.
So that's that. And then last but not least,
but bestest,
is a damp.
We recorded a day early, by the way.
Is a damp olive.
Oh, and this wool smells good.
Well, of course, because it's wool mice.
Yes.
And then, I like it. And it does fit tighter than I would have thought, but I was hoping that when I washed it and kind of, I don't know, wet blocked it a little bit.
Do you have a smaller friend that would wear them?
No.
You don't have one, huh?
I am 30.
You're no friend of mine. You can't have my olive.
I'm 30 days shredding, and you already have an olive. I am trying to be a smaller person.
And
you already have
olive.
one.
Okay, it was beautiful, Amy.
Yes.
And then you said that you forgot to mention last week that the 2 skeins you felt like were pretty even. No, they were or weren't. No, they were different.
Yeah.
And they matched up perfectly.
Well, pretty good. The only place that I notice, and again, it's a knitter thing, right? Like, nobody else is going to point this out.
Nobody's on the streets going to be pointing at you and going, psst.
Is that I can tell, like, right here, there's a lot more of the variation in the yarn from here to here.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's the bottom half of this yarn, but I did do it evenly. So when I got to the bottom of the sweater, I took what was remaining. Yeah, it's wafting the wool mice smell. I mean, it's this wonderful wool wash that she uses.
She
it's
needs
amazing.
to let Madeline Tosh know too then.
So I got it done, and then I was like, took that ball and divided it into 2
like
pieces.
Mixed it in.
Yeah, and I didn't even really mix it in. I did the sleeves until they were gone, and then took the other ball and then continued on until it was done. And I'm thinking I had enough that I could have just started just taken the leftovers from the bottom and just tossed that out. Not toss it out, but set it to the side and just worked from the main final ball. But I was worried because I thought that this matched really well in the body of the sweater, but when you're going around in a circle, the variation in the yarn just kind of stacked up a little bit more on the sleeve than it did in the body.
Your sleeves look bigger than mine. Like way, like not bigger, longer, but like wider than mine for some reason. I wonder if I'm a lot tighter knitter in the round than you are. Because you don't change needle size for the arms. It's been a while since I...
You're supposed to change needle sizes.
Maybe I didn't.
Okay. Because I think in both cases you're supposed to go up to the 6. You go up to the 6 and go down, and then change back to the 2s when you're at the sleeves, the cuffs. And again, I made it 2 all the way down because again, I thought that the fabric it was going to make from going from 2 to 6 is just going to be crazy. Because I mean, this is a nice fabric. I can't imagine going to a much looser gauge. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Woohoo!
Only 3 finished objects this week.
Well, yarn was my other, mistress. Yeah, I had to work on it when I was bored or angry.
I was watching Knit and Wolf today, and she said she's actually started crocheting because she was going to be monogamous as well.
Oh, crocheting.
Crocheting isn't, apparently. She's not monogamous. She's monogamously knitting. But it was funny. Susan messaged me today and was like, so are you totally not being polygamous anymore? And I'm like, what makes you say that? And she's like, well, you're not complaining. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm adaptable. Like, I think it's far, and I will admit this openly, even though when Amy said it, I pshawed. I think it's much easier to go from being monogamous to being polygamous, because at any given moment you really are being monogamous. If that makes any sense. Like, you could only work on one project at any given time.
Right.
And so my polygamy now is that I've got multiple projects on the needles that I'm working on, but like at any given like 2-hour stretch, I'm working on the same one. So I'm not like switching every 15 minutes as some people do. Like, I'm not that crazy polygamist, but I really like it. I got to a point with my cardigan where I needed to do some work that I just didn't want to carry around that huge cardigan and the needles and scissors and stuff, and so I was working on my socks. If you get into a weird place with your knitting where you're not really knitting, or there's something that is high intensity or whatever, and you've got another project on the needles, then you don't have to sweat it, right? I mean, you don't have to figure out how to work knitting into your life. Just pick up a different knitting thing.
Yep, and then, for me, the monogamy has really helped, put pressure, not pressure, but, put focus on one object that has been languishing. And I have a feeling that I'm going to probably do a shorter version than I was originally planning on for that shawl, because of the monogamy. But at the same time, that will probably make me more happy in the long run than if I had just, like, I don't know, gotten frustrated with it. And normally I just set it aside for 6 months and not have a finished object. Whereas now I'm like, well, I can push through 10 more rows or 20 more rows and then have a finished object. It's not the 50 that I was originally planning on doing, but, I don't know, just trying to justify getting through to the end, but having it be a shorter end than if I had multiple projects going. That one just might sit for another 6 months until I got my shawl mojo back.
And that really is what monogamy is about to me. It's like, well, if I put that down, I'm never picking it back up. It's like these socks. Like, if I were doing these polygamously and I didn't cast on this second toe, I probably never would have, right? Because the second sock is far less interesting to me than the first. So to me, monogamy is about getting it done, right? Like, okay, this project needs to be completed, and I enjoy the process of knitting, but ultimately I like the product. And so if I don't get to the product and it takes me 6 months to get through, 6 months later, I'm now picking up something that I just fell out of love with briefly, and, maybe 2 more days of knitting, I would have had it done, sort of thing. So, don't know. Do you want to talk about your works in progress, or do you want me to talk for a while? You're counting, I see.
You can talk. I need to rest my voice a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I do have a hoe. So, this is the Vanilla Bean sock by Emily Locke. Is that how you say her last name, or is it Locke? Out of Vesper Self Striping in the Twitter painted colorway. I chose to do an afterthought heel because they fit me, and then they keep the patterning contiguous. I do a fairly short top because I'm not and they're a little tight because I went down to the zeros and I went up to a 64, but then there's also 64 stitches, but then there's also the slip stitches, yeah. So they fit good. They're not going to be loosey-goosey and get places where they're going to need to be darned. And just has really neat little slipped, like, little speckling there. Ended up, first time I've ever done it in the name of keeping my stripes a little bit of yellow peeked through, and so I ripped out the whole bind off and went back a row so that I could keep it all green. First time I've ever done that before. And then as I was putting weaving in the ends, I turned it inside out. And isn't that like the coolest thing that you've ever seen?
Cool, inside out.
I almost want to wear them inside out with the speckling and the popping of the one color through to the next. Hopefully you can see that. And I think I might be able to make a pair of socks for somebody else out of this skein, because I've got quite a bit left for only needing to do half more. This week, part of my polygamy was also putting on 5 million buttons. That is an exact count. Actually, there was 2, 4, 14. I had 14. So my low tide needed 5 buttons. My Lady Kina needed 5 buttons. My Rocky Coast needed 2, and my daughter's AD needed 2. And so this is kind of stinky because I wore it underneath my coat today and I got really sweaty. It needs to be washed. But I really like it. I wore it all day and it never fell off my shoulders. So,
that's good.
Yeah, I was a buttoning machine. And if you know where there is a buttoning machine I can buy, I will buy it because I hate putting on buttons. I actually was cleaning this weekend. That's how much I was avoiding putting on buttons. I was like, oh, I'll just clean the toilet rather than go put on buttons. But this 4 kitties have I, and Ginny helped me pick out some buttons. Although 4 kitties have I was, Melanie was picking out like lace, I think, that she didn't know what she was going to do with and when we were picking out these. But it's very cool. They're almost like a worry stone. And they look like rocks and kind of gravelly to me, which I thought was fitting for the Rocky Coast cardigan. Cool. Yep. And that is that. I've got the other toe that I cast on that I learned from you. You said once you bind off a sock, you always immediately cast on the second.
Yep. Cuff, toe, whatever it is. Put it on the needles right away.
And I had never run into that before because I would always cast on the second one, right?
Yeah, because that was the only thing you had left to do.
Yes. Right? Yep. That was what I was working on. And do you want to talk about your work in progress now and talk about mine?
Okay, so I don't have a really good picture because I just printed off this sheet before I came here so I could put the magazine away. But is the Whirligig Shrug, and it's from Weekend Interweave Knits Weekend 2009. And again, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a little baby shrug. And it'll have a ruffle down here and some ruffles on the sleeves. And I'm just doing this for a coworker's baby.
What's it out of? You said it was cotton.
Oh yeah, it's like that Supreme cotton. I bought it at the Loopy U. And I already forget what it's called. Something Cotton Supreme.
Ultra Pima?
No.
It is not Pima cotton?
I don't know.
And this was cast on before? From a long time ago? Or did you cast it
This
on
was
explicitly for the... Okay.
This was, I knew I had to get it done because they're due in January and I'm not sure when in January, so I need to get it off the needles before the end of December. So I knew that before the end of October and went quick, cast it on so that it was on the needles for this Knit to Zero. And so I am getting ready to take the sleeves off. And so
wow, already?
Yeah, it's the 6-month size. Because I figure for a cute little shrug, they need to be at least sitting up and crawling and stuff.
Yeah, and
you don't want to...
Yeah, and the shrug is nice for more spring, summer
yes,
time frame.
exactly,
anyway.
exactly. This is a cotton shrug, and they're having a January baby, so yeah, much better to have it
Those
later.
Capricorns. I don't have the signs memorized. That's just when my birthday is. And that's your only work in progress, right?
Right. It is. Everything else is waiting in line. And like I said, the shawl is the next one on the list from the original list. Now, I reserve the right to flip around the list. You know, if I get to the point where I'm ready to work on the next thing and I really just want to work on one more small thing, I'm going to move things around in the list. But once I start working on it, I am going to work on it until it's done.
So, I had a very interesting time producing the video last week. As I was watching it and trying to figure out, I can't remember what you talked about that I was trying to go back and listen to. I saw me holding up this and feeling myself up. Oh, Chaz, you chose to come join us this evening? How nice of you. All of a sudden, I saw the color change line. It was like, the glass was broken. And so I held it up for Melanie and Amy as we were having a wonderful meal. Thank you, Melanie. And I was like, so would you rip it or would you keep it and just be like, oh, I'm just being a crazy knitter, kind of like you were saying. And there was 2 votes for rip it. So it got ripped back from where I had separated for the sleeves to just above the ribbing. And I did do my color, my alternating back and forth, but ultimately it was just one skein had a very light part. And it was right where the color change was. And I had done the kind of cheater color change where you go back and forth for several rows before you completely swap over, and it didn't matter. You could really see it. So went back, came back up, did arms.
It was like a watermark. Like it looked like one half was wet and the other half was dry. You know, it was really obvious. So that's why we were saying she should rip back.
Yeah, and it's expensive yarn. This is the Plucky Primo Sport, and so I don't know, I just wanted to do it justice, right? Trying to figure out where the middle of the back of the neck is.
Well, and you said you really enjoyed knitting on it so much.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you know, knit it again.
Yep. And so, and then, yeah, this is, I was hoping to get it pinned out, but I kind of avoided it by working on my sock today. But the shoulder seams go here, and then the neck piece goes around the back and meets in the middle. So I just need to seam up some shoulders, and then I'm going to try doing from the top down, even though the pattern is going to be in the opposite direction. I think only a non-knitter wouldn't notice that the pine cones or whatever, I think pomme de pin means pine cone, are going the opposite direction. Because I like top-down sleeves because then you can see where they're ending. And then I can figure out whether or not I need your extra skeins by where the sleeve length is. And then it also has a button band here. And as I mentioned, it's a very expansive, I mean, it's a nice, big, positive ease knit. And that's all I have to say about that. So see, I told you I wasn't going to have it finished by this week. Little did I know I would be ripping it out. Just got my ball winder out and went. Then immediately went back and picked up all the stitches because lace is kind of, you know, when you've got yarn overs, but it's a very easy pattern to remember, and so picked them all back up and away I went. So yes, I didn't get much done other than these 2 things this week because I wasn't, again, as polygamous as I had been in the past. Didn't touch my husband's socks, didn't cast on a for good.
Well, and my version of polygamy is that when I want to cast something on, like if the mood strikes me, I spend that evening planning, plotting, and casting on something. I don't necessarily feel like I have to be working on all the projects all the time. I mean, I might have, like I said, what was it, 4 active
So could you just say that you do what you want when you want? Because, I mean, that's ultimately what I feel like I'm doing now. It's like, well, I want to cast on for good. Gonna do it because I want to. Not wait until I have, you know, like delay the gratification of casting it on. So this is going to be my beatnik.
That's the Wowza, huh?
Yeah, this is Miss Babs Yowza What a Skein in Ruby Spinel. And there's a lot of spinel or spinal, no, it's not spinal, colorways. And I meant to go out and look it up, what spinel means.
It's weird because I think I have a spinel that's blue.
Yeah, so this is Ruby Spinel. And I'm going to be alternating skeins because, Lord help me, if I have to rip out all of that cabling. Casting on Thursday after I do my turkey trot, and you should join Ooh Fancy Pants and the Hollywood Knitter, What's Just Watching podcast, and the Hollywood Knitter. They're doing a joint KAL. Trying to get Amy to
turkey trot.
The one that we go to, you can do a mile run walk or 5 miles. So I always do 5 miles. Makes me feel like I can eat whatever I want. Mm-hmm. I told a coworker that, and they're like, I always eat whatever I want anyway. They said, well, good for you. And then this is going to be a for good. It is All for Love of Yarn. The yarn crawl. Mm-hmm. And it's MCN, and it's squishy and wonderful. And I think it will make a great for good in my Girl Cave bag. So those are 2 things that are getting cast on. I also have DP Temple's socks that I need to cast on. The socks are going to be long
Again,
running.
Alaska Mama, I am not casting on just yet. So
just think of all the hearing of your name. If you watch us regularly, you're going to get.
Because I keep, yeah.
Yep. Purchases. You said you didn't bring yours.
No, I didn't. I have some of the similar stuff. So I had Into the World Club Yarn or Club Fiber, and I'm in the Luxe space, and I got the same color that everybody else got, that everybody else is talking about. So I think it was on the Knit Girls, then it was on Knit One Heart 2, so you've seen it.
And this is the Plucky Knitter 2-ply, 100% cashmere, 400 yards in the medieval colorway. Mm-hmm. And Amy got 2-ply as well, because I enabled her, because I have a brown belt in enabling. Which is
I leveled up recently. She gave me a level up in enabling.
Level up. And you said that it was, because she has it so tightly, it's not even tightly plied, it's tightly skein plied.
Yeah. That
you can't really see how, and that's fine because it probably ships better that way. But when you fluff it up, it's ever so more lovely.
Yes.
So.
It feels softer, and it looks more like the, yarn you're going to knit with, right?
Yeah. But word to the wise, she had it listed as fingering on her website, and she does like sporadic posting, so I don't know if you'll be able to get this anytime soon, but
her yarn smells like candy.
It does. I have quite the sniffo vision tonight. But this is 1,200 yards, and it's more of a lace weight. So Amy and I are both looking at lace weight patterns to be knitting this out of.
Yes. We feel like that'll be more of an accurate representation. I mean, you could click on the light fingering button too when you're doing your pattern search, but I think you might get too many regular fingering in the light fingering, so to go to lace, and this is probably what this is going to be.
I probably shouldn't have fluked, because now it's going to take up more space in my stash.
But the, what was it say? Oh, mine is a light gray and blue.
And mine's more of a light gray and purple.
Yeah. But my blue is lighter than my gray, or it's very similar in color. Mm-hmm. It's much lighter than this color.
But it's ever so soft. I just oohed and awed about that Primo, and this is ever so soft.
Yes. We'll have to see how well that knits up.
Yes, I'm sure it will knit like a dream. It has a wonderful hand. It's whether or not the fabric that it creates has. Yeah. And the Plucky Knitter is somebody who does do a lot of sweaters. She's an indie that does do sweater quantities. So. Also got a bunch of goodies for kitties from Poor Kitties of I. I'm not going to necessarily talk about everything that's in here, but let's suffice to say, wonderful bag full of wonderful things. Thank you so much, Melanie.
Yep. I have a similar version.
Kids have eaten the heck out of those suckers. Yes. Lollipops. And then last, certainly not least, I have Tempted. The Tempted Yarn Club, not the fiber. So look away, wait for me to say all done or something. I always think about that. People tell you to look away, but how do you know when to join back up? I don't know. Look for the hand waving. Beautiful graphic, prepare to be blown away. And handwritten card. Who does that for 200 of their closest friends? Good Girls Don't is the colorway, and it's very it's splatter, and I love the color. I think it will look wonderful in whatever it chooses to be. I don't know that I will be making the pattern, but
I remember what happened. I knit my husband's socks out of my little Lux Girl. How did that happen?
Yes, so it's Little Lux Girl, which is 80%
right,
merino, 10%
I need some more Lux
cashmere,
Girl.
10% nylon. It's an
How did my
MCN.
husband get those?
What color were they? Is that why they ended
The
up?
tealy blue. I mean, yeah, it could have been either. It was a unisex color.
I don't know how to explain what I think the color. It kind of looks like maybe a black cherry to me. Smells like the soap, which is the last thing. Squeaky clean soap. It's so cute. And it's honey. No, vanilla sandalwood. So beautiful. It's just got a nice, like, musky base. That must be the sandalwood, and then the vanilla is a nice. It's just wonderful. Sweet. Yeah, I've started throwing some of my soaps in with my stash, which I've leveled up in stash. Still have the same number of totes, but now you can take a bath in my totes. They're that big. I would highly recommend it because it's full of wonderful yarn. Have you seen those totes? They're 115 quarts. They're like ginormous. So now it looks.
Just picturing somebody taking a bath in your totes.
You totally should. You totes should take a tote bath, yarn bath in my totes. But Stacy, it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for creating such art. I would be so proud if I were a dyer. Like every little piece of art that I send out in the mail. Like, look at my beautiful art. And then not only do you get to be involved in the beautiful artiness of making the yarn, grab the Marigold Jen that I believe is beautiful and arty as well, but then you can see what people make out of it. And then it's a whole nother art form, right? And you can watch kind of like with the patterns and seeing people make patterns and fiber artistes.
Yes, I am doing a lot of that pattern searching, monogamy.
That's how you cheat. Yeah. You plan out your next thing. So that's what's dangerous right now for me is I'm allowing myself to, I'll just cast on that beadnet even though I don't have my pomme de pen done. And, another sock needs to go on. And, I want to do some hats. And I'm going to be paying for this polygamy. I'm going to get like a polygamy transmitted disease. That baggage, I'm going to be carrying it around for her. I do. I literally have a bag full of projects. Like you do. I'm turning into you. Oh no. I just realized that. I was like, it'd be so much easier if I just put all of these bags in the bag. And then I was like, wait, you do that all the time. A bag of bags. Good thing I've got all these wonderful bags. Sorry.
That's one benefit, right? You get to use all those bags you brought.
It is. And if only to I wouldn't use this bag right now. Maybe not even be the project. It's like, I want to be seen with this bag.
Yeah, this is my bag that gets around.
So all of our Canadian friends have already had Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I want to wish everybody in the United States a very happy Thanksgiving. I think I might not do it this week, but in an upcoming week, I'm highballing it here, like 2 or 3 days in the week and not knit, and just appreciate life, what I would normally be doing, the sights, the sounds, the smells, without knitting. And then I will truly be thankful for the knitting that I just can't say I'm not going to do it this week because I'll be spending a lot of time in a car. And to me, car is prime time, knitting time.
Yes.
So that's going to be an upcoming crazy for me, is I'm going to try to not knit for several days because obviously I've become too comfortable with polygamy. Amy's like, I hate monogamy.
Well, it's okay. I'm already telling that this cotton while it's better than most cottons, is kind of rough on my hands because of the tension I have to hold in it, and it's not springy.
You'd like to be able to swap it out.
So I would really like to swap it out. And I noticed that the yarn I picked for the beatnik, this future beatnik, is cotton. So I better be rolling polygamy again before I go.
Or you could like drop the polygamy and just go to getting down to 0, right? So swap out with some cotton, do some cotton, do some
This
scarf,
is the only cotton thing, and it's a baby sweater. I will get through it. I just noticed after getting this far on it, going, this is not pleasant, or as pleasant as it could be. So I would really appreciate like a breather, a break, a day where I just knit on some wool, some good old-fashioned wool.
When we were out for supper, I have to share the story. I should have done it earlier. Amy was knitting on her sweater, and our waiter was a child of 2-fiber, 2-needlework folks, and was like so impressed by the sweater. And then we had another guy come up that was a quilter. I don't know if we were like, I don't know if it was like random male crafter day, but like, very, it was just odd. And then you made the comment that you don't normally knit on sweaters in public, right? And not that you're like hiding in a corner knitting your sweater, but just they aren't as transportable. And so she got a lot of comments. People came up to you, like several people came up to you, 2 of them were male, that commented that it was really neat. You made that? I mean, like, wow, what are you making? And so I think that, to me, that was neat, because I am constantly seeing knitting garments in public. So it was interesting for me to see your reaction to people reacting to you knitting.
I get a lot. Like the men were actually a lot more like, that's really cool. The people on the bus are just like, that's weird, like, and then they move on, like they don't talk to you anymore. Or, like since it's red, a lot of people are like, oh, Christmas knitting, is it a gift? No. Yeah. For me. And not Christmas. I actually started it like in April. Yeah. And, but I don't know. I enjoyed getting the attention. I don't know. It depends. Like there was an adorable girl who was she wasn't making anything, but she had a big bag of crafty things. And she was making little, those penny blossoms, like from Big Bang Theory, like little clip-on hair things that are big flowers. And she was getting ready for the upcoming craft show, but that's over. Right? There was one at our local civic center. And anyway, she was all excitedly talking about her craft. So I made sure that I asked a lot of, like, poignant questions, like, do you use only recycled fabrics? And she's like, oh my gosh, I just bought these lace curtains that I'm going to turn into, these things, and da-da-da-da, she had, I don't know, when people ask me about mine, they assume I'm knitting for somebody else, which I hardly ever am.
Yeah, that would be another crazy of mine as well, not to be selfish, but selfish
knitter. That Mine group, which is a group for selfish knitters, is, if you need a little, like, shot in the arm for knitting for yourself and way to go, good for you, that's the place to go.
Well, I just tell people it's really easy for me to try on things as I'm knitting them that way, right? Like, this DP Temple, she's going to be the first person that I've knit and like not actually like measured their foot, right?
Oh, like, yeah.
Or be able to say, can you try that on? Yeah. So other than like scarves and shawls and stuff, which are just kind of everybody, they fit everybody.
Yeah, I get to knit a shawl.
Yeah. Anyway, we're babbling. It's almost an hour.
Oh my goodness.
We'll be able to get to see our face. Our faces will just be really blurry because the quality of the video is so low.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye, Ufta.